Hello there, welcome to another lesson from the Focus Online Academy, and we're following the Focus book today, Discover, Connect, Achieve, and this is the internal roadmap lesson, which is on page 30. So we've now learnt the information about focus, and what we're now going to do is to start to practice realizing how we're focusing and then learning how to switch it. So if we're focusing on the who you are element of yourself and it's getting quite difficult because it may be, a bit traumatic, a bit sad, then we can then switch our focus for a little bit to do something else, so we have a chance to sort of recover from that experience, and then once we've recovered from that or the situation's changed, we can then switch our focus back into our who we are, and also if we're in who we are focus mode and we're we've had enough of it, then we can switch into our mind mode and go on a computer game and start to have fun in that respect. So it's all about learning how to switch your focus, okay? And once you learn how to switch it, you really are mastering your own internal power. And I've just made this little chart for you because what we know from science is that if you see something and you can move things with it, and at the same time sort of learn stuff, it really helps your brain to create new neuron paths so that it becomes an automatic learning. A little bit like learning how to drive a car. You practice, and in the end you can do it without thinking. That's what this is about. So the internal roadmap, this is what I call it, the internal roadmap, allows you to in the end automatically switch your focus and understand what's happening. I'm not going to go on about this too much because it's in the book, okay? There's a chapter in the book that gives you a step-by-step formula as to how to use it. So I'm just really going to talk about it briefly now, but we start, we put our finger on the focus. What focus? Put your finger on it literally. That depends on what you are aware of. If you are go and visit the mind, like in a taxi, if you go taxiing off into your mind, you'll experience thinking and emotion. Sometimes that will be success, hooray, I've won, I'm top of the class, I have approval, I've got lots of money, but sometimes it will be a failure. So you'll probably become anxious or angry in that moment. And unfortunately, if we get stuck there, if we get stuck down this path, we can kind of start to loop. And sometimes if we get stuck in the failure, we need to then have a success. And then when we fail, we need to, we can get very stuck here. We can get very stuck here. So the way to get unstuck from here is to go backwards. So we start to understand that that's actually just an emotion. And that emotion is just from thinking. And we're thinking because we are in our mind. So what we can do is we can become more aware of who you are, and literally putting your finger on this and doing it really helps your brain understand this. So we start to understand and learn who you are. That's in the book, and that's also lots of information on that in the Energy Dynamic Model Academy, which is all about that at a very deep level. So we need to start to understand what that looks like, what that means to you. Once you know that, okay, we have knowledge about yourself. You start to have knowledge about yourself, and once you have knowledge about yourself, you can then start to curate beautiful situations for yourself in a kind and humble way, where you can show yourself and you can start to create good feelings. Once you start to create good feelings and you're in an environment that is good for you, you start to feel contentment. Sometimes though, life being life, it's sad. So someone close to you may be ill. You may be doing something that's actually physically quite challenging. etc. But there's nothing to worry about. That's sad. If you have a lot of good feelings that you're carrying within you anyway, you can take a little bit of sad. It's no problem. It's only when you have no good feelings that sadness becomes massive, and then your focus, your brain will change your focus actually and go shooting up here and down here, and you'll start to get angry or emotional. And again, I talk a lot about that in the Energy Dynamic Model Academy. But for here, all we need to understand is that when we know who we are, we know that we can start to be in situations that are good for us. We build up contentment. If we feel sad, we can have a cry, we can ask for support, we can change the situation. Most important thing there really is that we ask for support, okay? We ask for support, we ask for help. And we stay there, and what you'll find in the end, but almost as if by magic, is that without even trying, because you're just aware of who you are and you know that and you're feeling, you will automatically become successful, and you've based all of that on who you are. So everything will be in line. Your mind will be in line with who you are, and your who you are will be in line with your situation, and you'll be aligned, and you'll feel absolutely solid. You'll have meaning, purpose, belonging. You'll like your identity, like you will enjoy being seen as how you are, and you'll feel safe, loved, cared for, and you will be giving that too. And also your mind will be calm because you'll be feeling good and resilient. So there we are. More information about the book. Any comments or any requests, please let me know in the usual ways. So thank you very much.